A number were murdered. They're raped. They're being put on drugs. And the Supreme Court of the United States and the courts of appeal, nobody steps in and says, okay, you have rights afforded under the Constitution of the United States. Just last week, I got 2 of these unsigned orders from the Maryland Court of Special Deals for Gangsters in Maryland and the Maryland Court of Appeals for Gangsters in Maryland. And I went to the court the next day, and it's on videotape at secretjustice.com, program 123, 24, and 25. 223, 24, and 25. And I asked the clerk, I would like to see these signed orders. And the chief deputy clerk brings the document out and opens up the case file, and the first thing you notice is 50% of the case file is missing. So that's a red flag right there, folks. It shows you that insiders in the court, and you got to realize that most of these families are going up against people who have money. The women in the family don't have the money. The men in the family had the money. And you've heard how these people say, well, you know, I was charged with child abuse and the false allegations, and I spent $275,000 in lawyers' fees to get these things. No, these were basic bribes. You can't get charged 6 times with child abuse and have it expunged from your record. I'm sure if you're charged 6 times and locked up 6 times, there's a record. But because you had more money than the spouse and you had connections inside of the court system, you are going to be vindicated. That's not the way the system works in this country, folks. 28 U.S.C. 1654 says that every American citizen has a right to go into every court in this nation and represent themselves or defend themselves in any action. It's not happening. The American Bar Association and its mafia-controlled members will not let this happen. You go into court and say, I represent yourself, and the judge says, I don't care what you say, you're wrong, you're out of here, person. When he does that, he's committing treason against the Constitution and fraud against the court. You have that absolute inalienable right to defend your rights and liberties. Look in this city here. Look what it was founded on. E pluribus unum. You go into the show there, and the first thing they say is E pluribus unum. What does that mean? That means that out of many, we unite to one. And we don't exercise that right. If we did, you would be 10,000. But you're not. I see a videographer and a couple other people, but everybody, here's 3 over here. You have 3 people. The apathy in this country is unbelievable. You're allowing your Supreme Court of the United States and your district courts and your circuit courts to rob you of your individual rights and liberties under color of law and authority. And you won't stand up. Remember what happened in 1939? Adolf Hitler formed the SS. And their function was to go pick people up in the middle of the night under false charges and haul them away and to execute them. And people said, well, you know, he didn't come from me, so I'm not going to do anything. He came from my neighbor, but I'm not going to do anything. Well, yeah, and when it came from me, there was nobody I could call. They're coming for you right now. They're coming for you right now. You have no idea of the the disastrous, the absolute disaster that this Congress of the United States and its 535 members, most of them belonging to the American Bar Association, what they have done to this country. I'll give you an analogy. From 1955 to 1972, we had a $2 trillion deficit. $2 trillion. From 1972 to now, we have a $13 trillion deficit. Okay? Now, let me tell you where the country's going, folks. That $13 trillion, if you go down the street here to the U.S. Mint and you tell them to mint you off a stack of $1,000 bills and come here and put it on the front steps of the Capitol of the United States, how high do you think it would be? Well, I'll make it easy on everybody, because each one of you out here today, each man, woman, and child in this nation now is indebted to the government of the United States of America at $47,000. When a baby comes out in the delivery room, they give it a Social Security number, and they sell that child onto the New York Stock Exchange to pay the debt of the United States. And that child is automatically inheriting a $47,000 debt. Now, let's get back to the $2 trillion. The $1 trillion is very simple. If the Mint were to bring it here and put it in one stack, that stack of freshly minted $1,000 bills would reach 890 miles into the ionosphere, 1/6 of the way to the moon. And I heard yesterday that the government is projecting by the year 2020 that it will be $20 trillion. They've sold us into slavery. The Congress of the United States has sold us into slavery. These are the massive. This is the massive. And just a week ago, I saw on TV that these arrogant pieces of garbage had the gall and the audacity to come in and make a big ceremony and commemorate a plaque that's 18 inches by 6 inches to recognize the thousands of African Americans who worked for nothing to construct our house. They deserve more than that. Oh, Alex Jones, I'm sorry, it was a correction. Alex Jones is on the internet. He has a viewing audience of about 2 million people a day now. And if you want the truth, Alex Jones is where you go to get the truth. It's scary, folks. But the thing is each one of these families sitting across the side, each one of them who have traveled here at great cost and expense. Some of them don't even have enough money to buy lunch, but they've traveled from Kentucky, from Illinois, from Canada, from all over this United States to alert our Congress that we want our country back. We want these, in the 2010 election, vote them out of office. Vote every one of them. When it comes to voting, just vote every incumbent, vote no. Because no matter what you get in here, they cannot be worse than the gangsters that are controlling this house at this time. They're disrespectful to the individuals of this nation. They're disrespectful to the Constitution of this nation, and they have made themselves gods over this country. And that's not what Washington and all of our other founding fathers wanted.